Okay, I got Larry the plumber, as we call him here at the plant. And Larry, this is what we call the underground pipe.
Right, the underground plumbing kit.
Underground plumbing kit for one of our single user.
Lemon Grove.
It's a single wide, so it just has single user restroom on the men's and the women.
That's correct.
So what is all of this right here?
Well, the 2-inch on the outside picks up the lavvies and in the women's room. In the men's side, it picks up the lavvy and the urinal.
Okay.
The 4-inch are always the water closets. The 2-inch on the inside go to the floor drain.
So the floor drain's inside the building, comes out through the opening, and then ties in there.
That's right. And then the vent comes up and ties into the 4-inch.
Okay.
And this is the end of the line clean out.
And what happens if they don't want the clean out inside the building?
Well, you just extend it out and stub up outside
Stub
the
up
building.
outside.
Right.
Okay. Now I noticed that sometimes when we get the plans back, the plan check says that there's no vents shown for the underground. Why don't we have vents for the underground?
Well, these are all drain lines. All the vents are above finished floor because they're all wall hung fixtures. The water closets, the urinals are all wall hung. They come off on a sanitary tee, and the vents are all above finished floor. There are no vents in the drain line.
What size vent?
In the underground. The vent through the roof is 4-inch.
4-inch.
The vent loop is 2-inch.
Okay. Now so there's just one vent going up for the whole thing. What if we have like a bunch of fixtures in the building?
You have a lot of fixtures. If you exceed 24 fixture units on the vent loop, you have to have more than one 4-inch vent through the roof.
So this would have...
That would go off 4-inch, and the other side would go off 4-inch.
Okay.
Split it in half.
And then once we set, why do we do it here instead of having it done on site?
Well, there's a lot of fixtures glued together here and at a specific dimension. If they just had the fittings and had to do it in the field, it'd take an exorbitant amount of time. And if we put it together here, all they have to do is lay it out correctly and put it in the ground very quickly. We need to cut down on the time spent in the field.
Okay, because I've actually witnessed, you taught me how to install these in the field several years ago, and we put this in the ground, and when we set the building, it was really amazing because every one of these pipes were within 1/8 of an inch. It was actually scary how close you get.
The underground matches the building. I make sure of that before we ever send it out.
Now when we put the underground in the field, what happens after we get this in down in the dirt? As far as, I mean, you had the actual, all of these pipes actually went up to this high. We had to fill it with water.
Yeah.
Why is that?
You put a 10-foot head on that's required by all cities. Require a 10-foot head, puts about 4.5 pounds of pressure on this pipe, head of water, and you put 4.5 pounds of pressure on the pipe, but it has to be inspected to make sure there are no leaks in the underground.
So that's what that's for.
Right, and once you pass the test, it's a matter of burying it 1 foot of sand over the top, then you can bury it with natural soil, with the native soil.
Okay, and then I see a long, I guess a tail going out.
Yeah,
what's that for?
That just goes out to the point of connection to the sewer main.
Okay, so we take this out to 6 feet beyond the building.
Right.
Okay. Now what's that big coil of pipe there?
That's the underground water line.
Okay.
Water will come underground, come in the building, and will stub up here and tie into the water system that's already in the building.
So that doesn't have any fittings or anything on it. It's soft enough to where you can bend it and it comes straight up.
Rolls right out in a sand bed in the underground, stubs up, ties into the water main.
Okay. So typically how long would this take to, with the tree or the kit already put together, how long does it take to get it in the ground and measured out correctly?
4 hours would be a good time, and that includes the time it takes to dig it. Normally, we would have a backhoe on site. Yeah. Once you get it laid out and get the backhoe to dig the trench, put it in, line it all up, and get a test on it, 4 hours would be good.
Versus a couple of days.
Oh, yeah. It would take a couple of days to
just
make all the calculations and get it all right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that plumbing line also ties into what we call our valve tree. And we'll get into that later when we actually get into the building and Larry installs it and sets it up against the wall. That way you'll get a better idea of what it looks like. And then he'll be back, Larry will be back to show you what the valve tree does and how it works.